one of those special Zoomer Times TV presentations. And all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, we have Roberta Hladek. And Roberta does something, I don't know anybody that does it exactly what she does. As a matter of fact, there used to be a TV show, Guess the Occupation, it was another name, and no one would know what she did. So what she does actually is she is the co-founder of something called the AIM program. And we're going to let her explain it to you now. We always do that in case we have some new people who never heard this. And so if you're on an elevator and someone said, good morning, what's your name, Roberta Hladek? What do you do? So what do you do, Roberta?
Oh boy, can of worms there. Well, what we do is we do energetic balancing. So what our program, the AIM program, does is it helps balance your energy so that you can ward off different diseases, maybe flus, colds, whatever. It helps boost our immune system, raising our vibration, if you want to call it that. And when we raise our vibration, it's like our life force, and our life force is our inner strength to overcome everyday stresses and whatever's going on in our lives. We wake up on the wrong side of the bed, whatever it is, right? So that's kind of what we do, and we help you to do that by joining on the AIM program. We have what we call these trays, and our trays vibrate, and we put photographs on these trays, and they match our vibrations, because each one of us is vibrating at our own rate of speed or whatever. I'm vibrating different than Anita is. And
right, I'm a big vibrator.
We're all like, if you look at like an aura picture, that's kind of what we're looking at, is different molecules that make us up, and that's our matrix. And so what we're doing is we're balancing the matrix so that we can not react, but we can reason with what's going on in our lives, basically. So it doesn't mean that we'll never have a bad day. It doesn't mean we're never going to get sick, but it's how long do those things last? Are we able to get over them pretty quickly or what? So when we raise our vibration, we're raising that immune system, and that's really important today.
So let me ask you about that. So let's say someone seems to be physically okay, but mentally they're having problems, suicidal, we're reading a lot about this mental health. Would it affect that also?
Yes, because it works all different levels. It works on our spiritual level, our mental level, our emotional level, I should say, instead of mental level, and also our physical level. And we work on different frequency balancing energies, which are hereditary, active, and chronic. So whatever's going on in us, if, maybe we broke our arm when we were 5 years old and we've been having issues with our arm with the cold, then sometimes there's something vibrating in there that needs to be balanced. If we're not feeling stable emotionally, which a lot of people have had a hard time with that, being socially distanced and not being able to see family members, or if they've had issues, maybe with drug or alcohol. These times are more difficult for those folks. And we do have balancing energies on there that can help them to kind of guide their way through this a little easier, and hopefully with less issues with it.
So let's move to animals. I know that a lot of us, I've been on the AIM program, and I have my dog, Jack, on the AIM program. How does it work on dogs?
Well, on dogs and animals, we've had kind of a lot of different animals on. Dogs, cats, we've had a whale. We've had...
you had a what?
A whale. Remember Keiko the whale?
Yes. How did you have him?
Keiko was on for a while. We had a woman that worked with him in the, I guess he was in SeaWorld. He was moved around quite a bit, but she was part of an organization that was doing the Free Willy. I remember that movie.
Yeah.
He worked
yeah,
on
free. Yeah.
And so she said that he was having issues and wanted to know if we could do anything. So we did work on Keiko for a while. So he
Did
was
it
on.
help him?
Yes, it helped him quite a bit. He had been losing weight and he started gaining weight. He gained like a couple tons or whatever. I can't remember exactly. It's been quite a few years ago. And I know she was concerned. She said, well, I know you put those frequencies on there. Does that mean that we're all going to start gaining weight? Because he wasn't feeling well. Well, he started feeling better and then he started gaining weight. So he was one of them. We've had gerbils on. We've had a kid had his pet snake on and all sorts of things. And most recently, we have a 24-year-old cat.
Yeah. Wow.
He's been on for about a year. She's still blind, but the vet really thought that she was, going to transition. So they were telling him to, give her some soft food because she was losing her teeth because she's 24.
Yeah.
She's fabulous. It's a year later and she's gained weight and she's like running around. And even though she's blind, she can navigate the house and she's doing great. The vet can't believe it. So,
that's really a great story. With all the time we've talked for so many years, we've never done the pet stories. This is great.
yeah, so she's doing really, really good. Her name's Hemi, and Hemi is a little orange striped cat. She is so cute, and he took a video of her, and she has a little fountain, and she goes to the fountain, drinks her water, and she meows, and she's just precious.
Isn't that perfect? So, and Dan has two fabulous cats, so he needs to hear this in case something happens. He needs to know this too. But so it works on animals, which is really, it works on everything. In fact, I think once you said, this sounds crazy, it works on cars. Because cars really are energy, even though we see it as a car. So I have a little trouble with my car. I mean, my car's wonderful, but it's old. It has 190,000 miles. And I'm trying to hold on to it. So when I get in the car, I pet it. I tap it inside. Say, okay, honey, thank you. You've been doing such a great job for me. Please just keep going.
That's great. Well, a lot of people have their cars on AIM. They have homes on AIM. We have a professional skateboarder who has a skateboard on AIM. We've had CDs. A musician wanted, his new CD was coming out and he wanted his CD on there for the positive energy. We've had scripts, movie scripts, books. We've had all sorts of things that people put on. We also had a woman when the stock market and everything was kind of doing its negative roll in 2008, I think 2009, when things were kind of topsy-turvy with all that. She was so concerned. She was an older woman. And so I said, well, you could put your, portfolio on if you want, because she was asking if we could do that. And I said, I don't know, I suppose so. So she took off the pertinent information, like her social security number and that kind of thing. And she put it on and she called me a couple of years later and she said, I am really lucky. It didn't go down as far as everybody else did. It kind of stabilized. So she said, I know it was just AIM. So.
Yeah, Roberta, this is Roberta Hladek, and she's a co-founder of the AIM program. And when you think of it, it's hard for us to really think this. Everything we have, our hair, our face, our body, that's what we're doing now, it's really energy. And we see it differently because it's in a different, sphere or something. But if everything is energy, then everything is believable and touchable.
Yeah, it's what we see. If everything is energy, anything is possible. And there's so many things that we've had put on the program that have helped. I know I have my home on AIM, and I think I've talked about it before, but the energy in my home is different. My lawn has always stayed green, even when we get the snow here, the terrible cold. the heat in the summer, we kind of get extremes from one season to the next. My lawn stays. So the only thing I can attribute it to is, AIM and my gardener, I guess,
Right. Well, that's interesting stuff. So the whole point of this, I think you did share a story of someone who was pretty sick and they got him on AIM after the fact. Remember, was
Yeah.
that, I forget what that story was. That's a good story to relate again.
Yeah, he had the virus, this current virus, and he is 36, I believe, very strong, very healthy guy. And he got it and he was put in the hospital and he was pretty severe. And his mom and his aunt, they all have a family plan. So they had been wanting to get him on, had all of his paperwork, but it hadn't been sent in time, or I don't know what happened. Anyway, so they had power of attorney for him now because he was so ill. And they put him on AIM, and within, I think it was like 10 days or so, he started to come around. And so they were able to take him off the ventilator, and he was conscious and able to communicate with the nurse. And so the doctor took her phone in there and FaceTime him with the parents so they could see him. Because with this, the way things are, I think now things are kind of moving into a more normal direction for us. So maybe now we can go to hospitals with our loved ones, but before we could not. So no one could see him. So it makes it a little harder in the healing, because when you have a family member, someone close to you, I think that's a very strong healing part. But with the FaceTime, he wasn't able to speak with them, but he was able to see them, and they were able to see him, and he was able to connect that way. And I think that had a positive effect on him as well. But what a great doctor that she was, to think of that and to feel that that was important, and to do that. Now that was back in March of last year.
Yeah.
Work and doing fabulous.
See, that's the key. So, and he knows now that he was on it. He knows how bad he was.
Yeah, he said he's never going to go off the program as long as he's
Of
alive.
course. No, of course.
He said with the repercussions afterwards, getting his strength back, and he had lost some weight, and now he's pretty much back to 100%.
Amazing. So
another
everyone wants to know, how do they contact you? It's called aimprogram.com. Go on the line, get aimprogram.com. You'll read a lot of this, what we're talking about. And you've been around for, I want to say 20 years. Is it longer?
Over 20 years.
Over 20, right?
Yeah, we started the AIM program in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
But Ethan and I were doing a different form of it back in 1987 when I met him. We were doing a similar program.
And I remember meeting Wayne Dyer, of course, and doing some things with him. And he was such a believer in the AIM program, and he was such a good friend with you all. And it's all just more of that motivation and just doing it. And, it's not expensive to become a member, but boy, just think about that one man. He should have died, really, for what you're telling me. He was ready, with the ventilator and the whole thing. And just look what happened.
It's very unusual, from what they tell me, to come off a ventilator. So he was very, very fortunate, but I think it was probably his age and his physical, and probably also just his mental, his spiritual and emotional outlook on things too. And it all plays a part. It's all part and parcel of the total pie that we are. We need all those aspects to continue and to be strong. So it's a very great program. We do a lot of other things with it too. We have enhancing frequencies that help us, and we also have anti-aging frequencies. So we work on a lot of different levels to help us strengthen and to be the best we can be, basically.
Right, and I haven't really heard from Colleen Haney lately. I don't know if she's back in Boca. She was visiting someone else, but because she's the counselor that, usually every location where you are, there's someone there that you can meet with who represents the AIM program, because there's things that they're trained to do. And so unless you want to fly out to Las Vegas, now, if someone came there, do you actually have a place, a studio where they can actually come in?
Yeah, we have an office, and sometimes people come when they're visiting town. They'll come and take a few minutes to see the trays and see themselves on the trays. So
Right.
we do require that you be part of the AIM program. That's the only way you can come and visit us. We don't really
Sure.
have a place for people to just come in and stroll around.
Right. I see. Well, but that would be very interesting. I mean, I guess I've seen pictures. That's how I've never been out there, but threatening to do that someday. But I have seen pictures of what that is, and some people don't believe in things like this, and that's okay. If you don't believe, it's not going to work anyway. You have to really. It's all part of your reaching into the future. I call it. I mean, I believe in all this because I believe in energy, and that's really what you have. It's just that you captured it in a unique way.
Yeah, it's like another form of prayer. And if you believe that if someone prays for you or you're praying for someone else, that it affects them, it does affect them, definitely. So this is just another form of it. And we all know deep inside us what's going on with our bodies and what we need and what we don't need. We really do. We just aren't always in tune with our bodies. So this kind of takes that off our plate. We don't have to worry about that because the AIM program tunes into what your body is telling it and sends those frequencies, and then your body can pick and choose the frequencies it needs. So it's just another thing that we don't have to really worry about.
And what you've talked about, Roberta, this is Roberta Hladek, and she is the co-founder of the AIM program. She's calling in from where she's viewing. We're viewing her from Las Vegas, Nevada. You've also talked about people who have been, they have been sick already. And I think if they were on the AIM program, they may not have gotten sick, because you've talked about how you clear their I don't want to call it genes, but the ancestors who had this, right?
Well, we work on a hereditary level, which hereditary is what's been passed down to you from generations before you. And the program, we have all these frequencies on there that help us to self-heal any hereditary dispositions that we may have. As long as it's in the database, we have the access to those frequencies, each one of us, to self-heal ourselves. So yes, we are able to kind of remove negative hereditary vibration. And then we go to the chronic level, and then we go to the active level. Active level is anything in the air today that may be affecting us in some way, shape, or form. So we're able to ward off those frequencies as best we can, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you've talked about that, and then there's sometimes that you find new problems that are in the world, and you then clear it for everybody on the trays, right?
Right. That's my job, is to find new frequencies and stay up on anything new that might be around in the air, or any new frequencies that I may find in a participant. That's kind of my job, to find out what those frequencies are and to add them to the database so that they're there for all of us to have access to should we need them.
Yeah, right. So that's something also that people need to be aware of. It's quite a complicated situation that you have. This is not casual. How many computers do you have that you use?
Well, for my testing computer, I have a couple. I have one at home and I have a travel one, and then I have one in the office here. But then the computers that send the frequencies, there's a whole bank of computers that have frequencies in them being sent to the trays.
I see. So, yeah, so it's a lot. So do you have ever, and this is a stupid question, everything is backed up, right? If all of us, I mean, you don't have any chance of losing your stuff.
No, we back up everything. And so we constantly have a main disk that we can always reboot it should something happen. We also have backup energy systems. So in case the power were to go out, we have those will keep us going, I think, for about 24 to 48 hours. I think 24 hours, they'll keep us going. And we did that because when we lived in California, we would have little earthquakes from time to time. So sometimes they would knock out the power, even if it was only for a few seconds. But we didn't want the AIM program to ever go down, because that's part of the beauty of it. It goes 24/7, 365 days a year. So it never goes down unless we take it down. But that is constantly going. So we want to make sure that it continues that. So we have energy, or what do they call them? Generators that keep them going. Should the power go out, then they'll continue going until we can get them fixed. And we figure about 24 hours, we should be able to fix anything that's going on with them and get them back up.
Right. You know, when you think about what happened with the fires and what's happened in Texas,
Yeah.
I mean, there could be some very serious things, but you've already protected everything.
Yeah. We try to always be one step ahead as best we can. So we're always thinking about the worst case scenario and then hoping for the best, right?
Right. And so you don't have worry with the floods there, do you?
No, knock on wood. We don't have flooding. We haven't had for that yet.
Okay, or earthquakes or things like that, right?
We had an earthquake about a year ago, but it was just a slight one. But hopefully we don't have one of those.
Okay, well, the energy's got to be there. Well, thank you. We're just about out of time, Roberta. It's always such a pleasure. It's funny, as many times as I've spoken to you, I always learn new things from you, and I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful for what you do for so many people, and especially now at this time with COVID, it is a scary time. So all I can suggest to people is forget the vacation and just join AIM program. Get the best you can be, and you'll do that with this organization. It's flawless, and she's so kind, and she'll help you, and she'll put you in touch with the perfect, I guess, consultants that she has all over the country. So thank you, Roberta, and stay well, and hope you get your shot soon.
Yeah, thank you. And you stay well too. It was a pleasure as always.
Always, Roberta. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
All right. Bye, everybody.